Just a day after Storm Isha caused travel chaos and left thousands without power, the UK is bracing itself for more severe weather with Storm Jocelyn due to hit this evening. Major disruption to transport is expected and no trains in Scotland will operate after 7 o'clock tonight. The Met Office has issued yellow weather warnings, meaning disruption because of wind and rain across most of the UK, with only East Anglia and southern England likely to escape the worst of Storm Jocelyn. An amber warning, meaning more widespread disruption, is in place for parts of western and northern Scotland and also Orkney. Our North of England correspondent Danny Savage sent us this report from York.
Another day, another storm. The rivers of the north have responded. This is the Ure in Boroughbridge in North Yorkshire.
It depends what happens up the dales. You know, snow melt and the rivers up the dale affects Boroughbridge quite a lot. But, you know, with the climate change, we just don't know. We feel these incidents are going to become more and more, unfortunately.
Not so far away is the River Swale in flood. Hardly a surprise when you look at the conditions upriver over the last couple of days. Both of those rivers you've just seen merge into this, the River Ouse, and one of its pinch points is here in the centre of York. Now, this is not an unusual sight, but the river level is expected to come up a bit more, and people here are being told to prepare for flooding.
For me, for my garage side, where that sign is, if that red cover goes over,
that's your barometer.
It's bad news, really bad news.
Chris lives over the other side, in an apartment above the water.
You can't go in for a beer there. That's somebody's business who they've got children to feed. They've
got to make money and they can't.
Yeah.
In Northern Ireland, they're still clearing up after yesterday's storm. It badly damaged power lines in places and thousands of homes are still being reconnected.
At the height of the outages, we had 53,000 customers off supply. We have managed to restore supply to 47,000 of those customers, leaving 6,000 that we are still working very hard to get back on supply as quickly as possible.
Tonight, though, it's Storm Jocelyn that will need watching. A relatively small area of North Yorkshire and Cumbria has a heavy rainfall warning. These pictures show why. And all that water has to flow down through already swollen river systems. The worst effects of this may still be a day or two away. Danny Savage, BBC News.
And another storm coming in.
Yes, there is. The 10th storm of the season, the 10th named storm of the season, Storm Jocelyn. It will be rolling in from the west. We're seeing heavy rain and strengthening winds. And it's only going to serve to hamper the clear up from Storm Isha on Sunday night, with tree structures already weakened and the ground saturated too. So worsening weather conditions through this afternoon, with the peak of the storm overnight tonight. And there'll be severe gales in the north and the west, and some very mild air being scooped up with this storm too. But the wind will be strengthening, widely gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour as we head through to the end of the day. 65 mile an hour gusts for Irish Sea coast, and within this amber weather warning area through this evening and overnight, we could be looking at gusts again of 75 to 80 miles an hour potentially, as Storm Jocelyn, or the deep area of low pressure, just passes to the north of Scotland there. It's following the same sort of track as Storm Isha. The winds may not be quite as strong for many, but of course with everything weakened, we are expecting some severe impacts yet again. And now we've been talking a lot about the strength of the winds, but also of concern will be just how much rainfall we're going to be seeing as we head through the rest of the week. The ground already saturated. We've got some flood warnings in force, and for parts of western Scotland we could be seeing as much as 100 millimetres of rainfall as we head through the rest of the week. But here's the outlook for our capital cities. A little more settled as we head through Friday, but it will be feeling cooler, particularly by night. Ben.
Hello, good afternoon. More in the way of wet and windy weather to come for the rest of today. This rather grey, bleak picture here sent in from one of our weather watchers.
Hello again. Well, we had our warning this morning, the old red sky, as the saying goes. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning, and of course we've had Storm Jocelyn move through today. The winds are actually going to pick up further as we go through this evening, and it'll still be windy tomorrow morning, but a better day, drier and brighter. And then on Thursday, I'm afraid, those grey and damp conditions return.
Another day, another storm, Ben.
Yes, a couple of days ago we had Storm Isha. Now we have Storm Jocelyn, which has already delivered huge amounts of rain to some parts of the UK. When I show you the satellite picture, you'll see why. Is this pipeline of cloud, essentially a pipeline of moisture. It's made for a very wet day in places. And then around the centre of this swirl here, we've got some particularly strong winds. And so there is now a Met Office amber warning in force.
And now I'm just trying to keep up with all the storms we've got. We're now on to yet another one.
Yes, we are, but it's not really having much of an impact here in London just yet. Now, the wind today has been another blustery one, but like I say, it's not been as strong as Storm Isha. The winds there were gusting up to 56, 58 miles per hour. Today, we've had gusts of around 30, 35. This is Storm Jocelyn moving across the north of the UK, this deep area of low pressure. Now, down in the southeast, the ice bar's not quite so tightly packed, more so further north, but it is still blustery. We had some rain through this morning, rather grey skies. That heavy rain cleared through. Behind it, it stayed really rather grey with some spots of light rain and some drizzle. Now, the wind is still fairly blustery, gusts of around 30 miles per hour today. Now, as we head further towards the end of the week, it is looking largely dry. We should see the return of a bit of sunshine as we head through Friday into the weekend, Saturday too, and we're hanging on to these mild temperatures, staying in double figures. Could see a spot or two of rain by the time we end Sunday, but again, you can see as we head towards next week, temperatures at 13 Celsius.
Hello there, good evening. It's a very stormy period of weather and we're seeing the second named storm in just a few days. Storm Jocelyn follows hot on the heels of Storm Isha, hampering the clear up. We've seen heavy downpours of rain move eastwards today along with strengthening winds.
It is going to be staying pretty stormy as we head through the next 24 hours. Let's get a quick check on where we are storm-wise. In fact, we've still got Isha, which is going to be clearing away. And then behind it, we are going to see Storm Jocelyn moving in this deep area of low pressure, represented by the cloud here. And that's going to be making its way across the UK as we head through this evening and overnight. So the strongest winds are yet to come. In fact, we'll take a look at some of the strongest winds so far in just a second. But as we head through the next 24 hours or so, prepare for some very strong gusts, perhaps touching up to 80 miles per hour, certainly strong enough to cause some disruption. The rain's been quite heavy today and it's going to stay heavy for a short time. As for the temperatures, it's been on the mild side, but certainly feeling fresh in the breeze. Right, let's take a look. Well, as I was just saying, the strongest winds are yet to come, but here is where we are at the moment. Lake Vyrnwy in Wales with a gust of 71 miles per hour, but that will intensify as we head through. And of course, we've got that amber weather warning very much in place at the moment. So that expires at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's going to be quite windy. You might get woken up overnight tonight. As I say, gusts could touch up to 80 miles per hour. In the yellow warning area, we could see gusts up to 70, certainly strong enough to cause some disruption here. So do check before you travel, particularly first thing tomorrow morning. So it does get quieter towards the end of the week, but as I say, still some rain around and still quite breezy as well.
OK, Alex, thank you.